feeling like I'm Akademiks.
Motherfuckers who say I hate women, I need y'all to clip this. I need y'all to clip this. Everybody, including my own pages, okay? Grant, clip this motherfucker, okay? Right after this. Now, I was doing my research, as I normally do when I get off stream, and also in the mornings before stream. And I got to be honest with you, chat. I want to sit up here and say, Diddy, who has 9 attorneys, I've ranked his attorneys in my mind. I've looked at what they've done, what they've accomplished in trying to get Diddy off. And the results at this point in time is going to shock you. The best lawyer, if you ask me, that Diddy has currently, it's not YSL Steel. I actually got him number 2. His number 1 lawyer that's doing work, putting belt to ass, is a black woman named Nicole Westland. Her rate finna go the fuck up after this. Now, some of y'all might remember her from the YSL case, and she introduced some motions that eventually led to the pleas and, the YSL case kind of breaking down. But she's been in this trial putting belt to ass, y'all. She's putting belt to ass. Everybody she's talked to, she's exposed. Give me a second. I'll tell you how. Dawn Richards. She got exposed so much. Look at her ass walking from the court. Look at this. They were even clowning her ass. Look. Dawn Richards walking. Wait, hold on. What the fuck? Richards walking from court. Look at this, chat. Wait, let me find it. Let me just put leaving court. Look at this. Look.
Wouldn't you be back on Monday?
Have you had a chance to chat with Cassie or see Cassie? I know it's probably been years maybe for you trying to see
Dawn, did he abuse you when you were in Danny the case?
We're not going to talk about the facts of the case right now.
What are the facts of the case?
Hey, y'all, the facts? What have you been up to, or any music dropping?
They was trolling her ass the whole time. Hold on. This is more videos. Hold on. I gotta make sure I see this shit. Now, I'm gonna show you why this woman, and by the way, she was in court yesterday. Okay? She was in court yesterday. Let me see. Can we find it? Dawn Richards. Or Rashard. I forgot. That's the bullshit name they're going with. Rashard. Okay. Here we go. Could I find it? Anyway, they were heckling the shit out of her. Where the fuck is the video? Can't find it. Whatever. If I can't find it, I can't find it. Okay? Let me see. There's a video of her, leaving court. Okay. Is it this? That's her entering court. Anyway, I can't find... Oh. Yeah, look at this picture here. Yeah, I can't find it. It'll probably take me a second to find it. It doesn't matter. Let me just say this. The reason why I'm giving the number 1 lawyer currently to Nicole Westerland, I didn't know too much about her, but I've learned a lot about her since. The reason why is that she's exposing these bitches. She's getting up there. She's talking that black woman language, and she's talking that girl talk with them, but she's exposing them. Like, bitch, you know you a liar. You know you're a fucking liar. You know that nigga ain't did you shit. You know you just want some bread. You know you full of shit. Now, she ain't talking like that, but she really is doing a really systematic and surgical job of getting to exposing these people. Let me tell you how she did Dawn Richards, right? So Dawn Richards, and by the way, I think we have, hold on. They said yesterday it was a big win for Diddy on cross-examine because Diddy's the here we go.
Wow.
Right.
When you can get the state's witness to say, I don't remember what I told the government 2 days ago, you're having a field day on cross-examination.
That's Nicole Westland again. So I think YSL Steel is number 2. This is my ranking if you ask me. I got the black woman, Nicole Westland. She's number 1. She been up there 2 times and exposed 2 people. 2 out of 2, that's 2 home runs. If this is baseball, you're winning. So Nicole Westerland is knocking it out. Brian Steele, even though it was kind of like iffy, like because he went hard at was it Mia or was it I think it was Mia. Right? Went hard at Mia. When a lot of people said you gotta treat them with like kid gloves. Brian Steele, I got his number 2. Tenny Garagos, I got his number 3. She did the opening. And everybody I keep hearing talk about this, they said the opening is strong. And they said Diddy's opening was a hit out of the park because they basically laid out what it is and they faced what the government was going to do this entire time. They said, hey, you're going to see a lot of things that ain't going to make Diddy look like a good person. But he's not on trial for being a good person. You're going to see maybe beatings and assaults and fights. We acknowledge these things happen. But he's not on trial for beating a girl up, putting his hands on his woman, having violent outbursts. That's not what he's on trial for. He's on trial for being a sex trafficker. And they're saying that was powerful because it sets the palette where the government, when they keep showing Cassie getting beat in that one Intercontinental video, is like, okay, we see it, but like that's not what, like, we got to prove the other shit. So they said that was powerful. So we give Tenny number 3. Number 4, I'm going to give to Anna Estavio. She's the one who did her work with Cassie. I think she did a good job. I got Mark Ignifilo. He's kind of like the coach, mostly. I got him at 5th. Xavier Donaldson, I got him at 6th. And who else? There's 3 more lawyers too. But anyway, okay, cool. So I just want to say, for all the people who think there's a hatred of women when it comes to me, no. The best lawyer that Diddy has right now is a black woman. She's been up there twice and exposed 2 people. Dawn Rashad, you know you a damn liar. You know you was down with Diddy Dirty Money. You was so sad and you wish he never dismantled the group. How was he ever forcing you to stay when he was the one that says, y'all can leave, go, get away from me? How was he trying to force y'all to be with him? Wait, hold up. You said he did this, and third. He hit somebody with a frying pan. You said it happened then. Then it happened then. Then you said this happened. You've never said this, but you're saying it now. Why do you have 4 versions of the same event? Dawn says, I don't remember what the hell happened. You don't remember what hell happened? It's been a while. No further questions. We got you. You fucking liar. We don't even need to hear nothing about you again. That's an exposal. We can't believe your testimony if you get spun around, you're dizzy, and you said, I don't know what the fuck happening. That's all we needed you to say. She said she don't know what the fuck happening. That's the win. So, Nicole Westland did that. Then Nicole Westland went on yesterday. And she started grilling. She's grilling. Who was she grilling yesterday? But the person admitted, hey, when's the last time you met with the government? They said 2 days ago. I said, all right, bet, cool. So what happened? The person couldn't remember what happened 2 days before. If you can't remember what happens 2 days ago with what your meeting was with the government, how you going to remember what happened almost 10 years ago? Come on, chat. So I got Nicole Westerland. She's up there. That's a beautiful black queen. Let me see if I can find her doing some work. We're not going to see her in federal court, but let's see her in the YSL case. Nicole Westerland. Oh, man. She doing work, though. She doing work. That is, look, this is her walking out. This is that black queen right here. This is that black queen right here. She did her work in that YSL trial. Now she trying to break Diddy free.
Good morning, Nicole.
Nicole on the go. Don't worry, baby girl. You're going to start wearing Prada, Gucci, Dolce, Gabbana, all that. Look at her.
Going away from Atlanta.
Brother.
Yeah, they say long way from Atlanta. That might be. Is that Davidson? That's not Donald, right? That's not Xavier Donald, right?
Okay.
Nice Morland. Here we go. This is her. Got her lashes on. Come on now. AirPods in. Okay.
Come in the car. I can pull up in the car. You had us lost, Nicole. You had us looking for you. Mr. Cole.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay still. It's okay.
Thank you.
Nah, shout out to our beautiful black queens, man. For all the people who say I don't like black women, bro, like, come on, man. Come on, man. She's rocking the case right now for Diddy. And by the way, I'm judging it based on, I get it, everybody has a job, but remember, if you go in there and eviscerate somebody who's on that witness stand, the jury's gonna be like, well, what type of case is this? She's 2 for 2, and I like it. I do like it, okay? I wanted to do a quick recap. Let me just play a little bit of logic, and then we're gonna get into what's going on today, and we're gonna be off running, okay?
Nation. And Nicole Westmoreland, who was acting for the Diddy defense here in the Southern District of New York, was having a time of it in shredding the testimony of Bryana Bongolian, a.k.a. Bono, one of the inner circle friends of Cassie Ventura this afternoon.
Yeah, they basically went along with saying that Bono was just making shit up as she goes. That was the sentiment.
I am Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Logic. I want to break down for you not just how badly it got for the state's witness when she was on cross-examination today, but I also want to speculate for you why things probably unfolded the way that they did. So let me break it down for you. This morning, Bono, whose name we have heard bandied about throughout this trial as being a friend of Cassie's from around 2015 through 2018, and a friend who they did drugs together a lot, and that it was increasing over time, that she had told over several incidents which were news to us. We had heard reference to the fact that there was a friend who was hung over the balcony. Cassie told us how her friend Bono was held over the balcony by Diddy. And Bono was coming in today to tell us that story. But in addition, she came up with 2 other incidents that were news to most of us. And specifically, one incident where she said she was sleeping and then Diddy came in, threw a knife at Cassie, and Cassie picked up the knife and threw it back at him. That was totally new. We also heard about another incident where she was standing at a photo shoot and Diddy came up and stood close to her in the face and said, "I am the devil, I can kill you." Now, these were incidents that we knew nothing about. Cassie didn't testify about this. We didn't hear anyone else talking about those last 2 incidents. Cassie did testify about the balcony incident, and this is being held over the 17th floor of a balcony that she said her friend Bono had been held over it, and then Diddy threw her down hard onto some of the furniture that was there on the balcony. That is testimony we've heard about during the course of this trial. However, today we had Bono on the stand, and when she told over the story, and the way she described it is that she was on the balcony, and Diddy came up behind her, grabbed her from behind, and lifted her up. And it sounded like she described the incident as her feet were on the banister, on the railing of the banister, and then Diddy was yelling at her saying, "You know what you did, you know what you did." And she's like, "I don't know what I did." And to this day, she has no idea what it is that she did, and that she's facing outwards toward the view while...
So remember, she's 115 pounds. Diddy lifts her over the balcony. He's just holding her. I'm thinking your clothes might rip just off gravity at that point. You might fall out and just die. But they claim Diddy holding her over the balcony. She around 115 pounds. Remember, she was a drug addict. That's another problem with her testimony. Chat, she used to sell pills to Cassie. She was damn near a crackhead. So she was thin as hell, 115. He hanging over the balcony. And he said after that, Diddy lifted her back over the balcony, still with 2 hands, and threw her like the Incredible Hulk into some furniture on the balcony. Shit, yo, chat, that shit don't sound nothing like the reality. I'm not saying Diddy might not grab her neck or some shit and held. If she had said Diddy grabbed her neck and held her neck over the balcony, I'll be like, you know what? That makes sense. But lifting her up like this, like Diddy's the Hulk, come the fuck on. Diddy was drunk all the time, getting IV drips all the time. Maybe he got that grown man freak off strength, but come on, man. You tell me Diddy hold you up like this over the balcony, 115 pounds. His forearms ain't that strong. Come on, bruv. Come on, dog.
He's holding her up there, trying to throw her over the balcony. That was the way it was told over on direct testimony this morning. On cross-examination, we started hearing all sorts of different claims as to how this story had been told over to the government and or in her civil complaint against Diddy. And she has filed a civil complaint against Diddy for $10 million that is still currently pending. That the way she tells the story over is somewhat different. Supposedly, sometimes when she was talking to the government, she said that Cassie was there. Sometimes she wasn't there. Cassie seemed to imply that she was not there at the time that that this balcony part came in, that she only showed up after Bryana had been thrown onto the furniture. And what was so brutal was that the way Nicole Westland for the defense broke down the timeline of events. So she says that you were with Cassie in November and December.
All right, we don't need to do all that. By the way, we're back in court. Come on. All rise. The Honorable Big Act is presiding. We got the chat niggas on the jury. Shout out to all everybody from the chat. Also, we got to catch up. So apparently the judge done scolded Diddy's lawyer. They say Diddy in court mean mugging. He making all type of facial expression. He in the court looking like Drewski. He doing all type of shit with his face. And he looking at the jury and they trying to tell him, tell your motherfucking client, stop doing that fuck shit before we get his ass on out of here. So apparently Judge Submaranian, this just happened, chat. Just happened. We're back in court right now, back in court. So Mr. Agnifilio, your client, which is Diddy, was looking at the jurors and nodding vigorously. This can't continue, or I'll give a limited instruction that we got to keep his head that way. This freaky ass nigga must be thinking he probably looking over there thinking he sees somebody from a freak-off. Fuck that. He can't look at a jury. He got to keep his head straight. It says we'll give a limited instruction you won't like or other measures barring your client from the courtroom. So Diddy is in court licking his lips. Sup, Playboy? Show all y'all niggas on the jury, why we ain't party together? Why we ain't party? Like, he doing all that shit, like, all that shit. He doing all the funny shit. He looking at the jury like it's 12 Meek Mills over there. He moving crazy, moving wacky, okay? So, the judge is noticing, like, what the fuck, what the hell? What the hell? Is this freaky ass? Yo, this nigga rubbing his hands. There ain't no baby oil in sight. He just rubbing his hands, chafed and everything. So the judge got to check him. Yo, hold on now. Agnifilo, what's up with your client, man? Why you looking at the jurors like that? Why you looking at them like that? You know one of them ones? Look, you ever seen Diddy looking at the dollar bill? They said this how Diddy in court. Why Diddy looking at the jury like that? Why Diddy doing all that? Why he doing all that? Take that shit going on. You feel me? Why you looking at the jury like Meek Mill in the pool? Why? We just want to know. He doing all the extra shit. Holy. All right, bet. Let's get back to the beginning, though. They just went on a break, so we're going to catch y'all up real quick. Westmoreland is back today again. I keep telling you, right now, she's cooking. Let's play my man Matthew Russell, and let's get it popping, chat.
Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Thursday, June 5th. We're heading in for, I believe, day 17, could it be, of the U.S. versus Sean Combs trial. It's starting a little later today, and so we've managed to get a few things done, including writing a story about the Diddy docket, the civil division, in which his former security guard, Joseph Sherman, sued Graves, who sued Combs and Sherman and others for a alleged sexual assault. Well, Sherman countersued, in a sense, for defamation and was lost. This was dismissed, and in fact, there's going to be some sanctions. We put the order up. You can find it on Inner City Press and Patreon. But I digress. The criminal case is rising. Yesterday, Frank Piazza, the video expert paid by the government, $295 an hour, and they went round and round. And the defense, had him narrated again and again. I'm not sure if it was that smart. Then there was Bryana Bana, who was dangled off the balcony. Now, Nicole Westmoreland did a pretty effective cross, pretty aggressive. Basically, she came right out and
Told you. Remember that name?
said, "Are you lying? Are you lying?" Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative. But that is the question. If you're going to plead not guilty and you have these witnesses saying you did these things, either they're lying or you're lying, right? Unless, of course, there's a legal dispute about you did do the thing, but it doesn't constitute RICO, which is the thing that's going to come up. I did a podcast. I think it's an NBC station based in Tampa, but you'll find it. Rooted in Progress. It was quite fun. So there's that. That's what you do when you have a little bit of time off. And we're working on week 4 of this trial because there continue to be ridiculous disinformation, including that Brad Pitt testified in the trial, quoting Intercity Press. We never reported that. What happened is that one of the events in the trial involved, at least initially, the premiere of a Brad Pitt film killing them softly. So I think these things are AI. I think they just pick up on mentions of people.
All right, let's get straight to it, man. Let's get straight to it. Holy. Jane Doe is going to be taking the stand at some point. Let me see. Let me read these tweets for y'all people. I want to read these tweets. Okay. Is it this? Nope. Yeah, they did something to my man Threads. Like, you can't really see it that well. Fuck. Is this the first? All right, come on, let's find it. Okay, bet. Okay. Bingo. Got it. So before the jury gets in today, the judge says, I understand the press is doing their best with the orders. What about Jane's text? So now they made some specific orders that they want the press to adhere to. Why? They don't want nobody to figure out the identity of Jane Doe. Now, I'm going to sit here and tell y'all, as a member of the esteemed press and owning, I think, the biggest media company in hip-hop, I would never try to figure out somebody who ain't trying to get figured out in federal court, okay? So I want to tell the judge, even though I'm not in court with y'all, I do plan to be later on in the case. But right now, since I'm not in court, I understand the orders. We're going to keep Jane Doe anonymous, okay? We ain't going to do no research to try to find out who she is. We ain't going to do no type of research. We ain't going to find out who she is. We just going to call her Jane Doe, okay? All right. Anyway, so Comey says, I feel I need to personally read them before releasing them to the press. How about Saturday or Friday? Judge says, don't kill yourself. So they're getting kind of dicey on putting out information now to the press because, number one, Matthew Russell and a couple of people have been writing letters to the chambers that's also in the docket that says, check this out. We're a member of the press. We represent interested parties, which is the people, and we feel some of this stuff it needs to be filed in a timely manner, and we should all be able to see it. The AUSA is saying, it's a sex case. There's some people who are anonymous or needs to be anonymous. We can't do that. So they asked the judge, before we put out these exhibits, could we review them first? The judge says, take your time. Okay, cool. Comey says the reporters are not officers of the court. They don't know what has to not be reported. So they're saying there's some rules of what shouldn't be in there. The reporters don't know, so we have to make sure it's not in there that they don't have to make that decision, okay? That's why I want to review them myself. I don't think there's a real constitutional issue here. By the way, Intercity Press, they disagree, which that's Matthew Russell. Summarian says, the type of information that Miss Comey wants to redact is it just a matter of timing? Should we adjourn for the day to permit redaction? He said, no, I reject that. The First Amendment does not require that. The government is making accommodations, okay? So the judge actually even brings up the issue that because the press is they're on their ass to say, y'all ain't giving us the info that's this is federal court. If you're not putting the stuff in the docket in a reasonable time, what are we doing? So the judge says it's a possibility we could have adjourned for the day to get caught up with the paperwork. But he says, I'm going to reject that. He says the First Amendment does not require that, and the government is making accommodation because the government says, we're going to put it up. We just want to read it first. I bet. AUSA says, we want to show, or we want a screenshot of Miss Ventura, Cassie's, communication with Miss Karam about the Miss Bongolian being dangled off of the balcony. The judge says, how does the balcony incident connect to the indictment? AUSA says it shows Mr. Combs' violence. Now, I have a problem with that, chat. I'm going to be honest. The government is getting away with putting anything in. Yo, Diddy slapped a rapper. Diddy choked out Drake. Diddy choked out J. Cole. Diddy choked out Kendrick. They're putting the nigga's violent, bro. That doesn't mean it has something to do with this case of racketeering. And them just being able to say, oh, we could use any violent act that Diddy did. Not every violent act he did was involved in a racketeering conspiracy. And I think that's a problem. It says Mr. Ventura is aware that they're going to be using a screenshot. And he says what it's going to show coercion. Alexandra Shapiro, we all know that's the appellate lawyer. She says it shouldn't be admitted. It's a backward-looking statement. AUSA says the screenshot was captured in September 2016, shortly after the incident. Shapiro says it doesn't say how Ms. Ventura heard about it. It could have been from somebody else. Now, here's the problem. You see, Shapiro is doing a really good job. Again, I like to give remember when I was ranking the lawyers, I didn't mention Alexandra Shapiro. You know why I didn't mention her? Because she's not she has some trial experience, but her job isn't to cross-examine a witness. Her job is to make sure if the judge is going to make a decision, he gets to hear all the if, ands, or buts that it could go in Diddy's favor, or else it could at least be noted on the record potentially for an appeal. So she's the appellate lawyer. So she's saying, hey, we shouldn't use that, because if we use that, it don't say how Cassie heard about it. Remember what we talked about before? If certain things use anything from Cassie's statement, Cassie might be recalled. Cassie just gave birth to a child. She's not going to come back to the stand. The government has told her, we're not bringing you back. So that's helping out Diddy's team, because they're going to look to her shit and be like, well, if y'all use that, we got to be able to call Cassie back. And the government's going to be like, nah, Cassie not coming back. So if the judge says, well, you can use it, but Cassie has to come back, they're not going to use it. The judge says, bring in Bryana and then the jury. All rise, okay? The chat niggas are here to break down this case. The judge says, jurors, we have a lunch coming in for you. We're going to take a shorter break, and Miss Westmoreland, may you start. Westmoreland says, what is this a picture of? Bryana says, drugs. Westmoreland says, you sent this photo to Cassie, though, right? Westmoreland says, now DX 1287, what's this? Bryana says, some type of drugs. Westmoreland says, how many type? Says, I can't tell. Westmoreland says, I thought you were still doing drugs with Cassie on May 31st, 2016, right? She says, yes. Westmoreland says, just before this, did Mr. Combs threaten your life? Bryana says, yes. Westmoreland says, weren't you scared to continue dealing with Cassie? Bryana says, I guess not. Westmoreland says, you said Mr. Combs groped your titties, right? AUSA says objection. He says, ask again. Westmoreland says, Mr. Tyrone said Mr. Combs groped your breasts. True? Ooh, this is huge. So Tyrone Blackburn is an attorney who, number one, has gotten sanctions before for the UMG stuff when he put some of the higher ups up in that lawsuit. And they were like, yo, this is an egregious lie. Lucian Grange, who is, we all know, the top dog of UMG. He never went to Diddy's house. He never did blah, blah, blah. And there was like an agreement where Tyrone was like, yo, I'll take it out and drop you out from the lawsuit, but don't request sanctions from me. And supposedly there was an agreement. He took it out and dropped them from the lawsuit, but they still requested sanctions anyway, right? Now we're seeing he might be in more trouble because a former client of his, which, by the way, some of these things are attorney-client privilege, but I don't think he works for her anymore. She's admitting that in the civil suit, that Mr. Tyrone wrote things. He said some of the things he wrote were not true. I'll move on. with the chat here. By the way, that's the guy who filed the Lil Rod lawsuit. He's the one who said the stuff about the Meek Mill, Stevie J. And guess who else he's suing? Westland. You fired him, right? And hired a new civil attorney, and they drafted the lawsuit, but you reviewed it? She said, yes, to the best of my ability. Westland says, look at this document, only for the parties, though. Ma'am, isn't it true your lawyer, Mr. Tyrone, alleged for the first time sexual assault, and although you knew it to be untrue, you began repeating it? He said, could you rephrase that? Say, yes, I'll rephrase it. Mr. Tyrone Blackburn alleged that Mr. Combs assaulted you. Could you hear me? She says, I can't speak for him. He said, what do you mean? He said, you don't have to speak for him, speak for you. He said, you kept repeating the lie about him grabbing your breast. Banner says, well, could you restate it? He said, okay. Okay, you stupid today, huh? You stupid today. Hold on, let me take a shot. You must be stupid today. You must be stupid today. Chat. If you know, you know. You know who else? That lawyer who now name is getting, you know who he's suing to? I'm just saying, if you know, you know. He's been the person, he going to everybody, I do it for free. He meets with them. This is alleged. And for the record, that my lawyers could be cool. I'm talking about nobody. You tell him something, and he said, that don't sound spicy enough. Hold on. Let me write what you really mean. G-Nack, how long you been here? You still don't get it? Y'all get what I'm saying, right? I don't got it. Come on, y'all get it. I'm just trying to get the chat. All good. So now this woman is claiming that attorney Tyrone Blackburn, and by the way, what I'm saying is not considered defamation or nothing of the sort. I'm just reporting, doing my job here. But attorney Tyrone Blackburn either made up a lie or wrote and filed a lie that Diddy grabbed this woman's breast, but now she's on the stand. She playing dumb, stupid, or retarded. She acting like she don't know what's going on. Westmoreland says, did you continue to go with the lie your attorney made up? You accused that nigga, Combs, of sexually assaulting you, even though you knew it was not true. Banner says, it's really hard to commit to the whole sentence. Oh my God, this bitch acting like she dumb. Oh my sweet Jesus. Oh nah, Westmoreland putting up 60 today. She acting like she don't understand English. What? Que lo que? Que lo que? Sac passe? Konnichiwa. Then she don't know what language is going on. Oh, for real. Word. So Westmoreland says it again. Maybe it's her Atlanta accent. Maybe she using a little bit of bondage. You know, they try to, they act like black women don't really. No, this is the black queen right here. She rephrases again. Okay, scallywag. You knew sexual assault was the only way you could sue. Bingo! Y'all got me looking like Unc now. I'm sounding like Unc. I'm going to tell you why this is important. Remember, when the act was being used, the Look Back Act or whatever you want to call it, or the Victims Act that allowed people that experience sexual violence. Remember what I'm saying, chat. Sexual violence from years before. If the statute of limitations passed, you had a year where you could refile. So here's the thing. Shorty said Diddy might have dangled her over the balcony. Diddy might have tried to beat her ass. She ain't never said Diddy did nothing sexual with her, but she gets this attorney. Who's the attorney? An attorney that's being referred to in federal court by the name of Tyrone. And Tyrone says, well, we can't sue Diddy unless you say Diddy touched you. You got to say Diddy raped you. You got to say he grabbed your titty. You got to say something. She's on the stand saying, I ain't telling him to say that. That nigga made it up. Sometimes you got to snitch on your lawyer. I'm sorry. So, he says, you knew sexual assault the way you could sue. Now, chat, this is when you know people don't want to perjure themselves. I don't recall. That's the question. You knew sexual assault. That was the only way you could have sued Diddy. So you alleged a lie. She says, I don't remember. You don't remember why you sued him? You don't remember your lawyer telling you, hey, the only way we could go forward with this is if we go with this story? You don't remember that? Okay. You don't remember him telling you that. Okay, but you know the story you said in the civil suit is that he sexually assaulted you. Did he sexually assault you? Nah, he didn't do that. My lawyer said that. So why would you let your lawyer file something false? What's going on here? The money grab is being exposed, Chad. I can't wait till I get Unc on. I can't wait till I get Unc on. Unc gonna call us out. Unc gonna call us out. Even Lauren Conlon gonna call us out. You say you were screaming. Are you aware of anyone else calling the police? Banner says, I don't think so. Why you ain't go to urgent care? He said, I just didn't. So why you ain't tell a chiropractor what happened? I ain't tell him either. Why not? I guess I was scared. Okay. Your girlfriend, what was her name? Her name's Sarah, or I call her Friday. Full name, please. Sarah Siddell. Okay, now we know her little lesbian lover. Google this. Sarah, oh shit. Sarah Siddell. Okay. Who the fuck is this? Bongolian. I don't know. I can't find it. We'll figure out who that is. Anybody know who that is? Let me know. Cool. Westland says, you got the government. You told the government she was Friday and that she wouldn't know nothing, right? So apparently they asked her, when you got dangled off the balcony, you say your girlfriend was there. Let us go talk to your girlfriend because she's going to be able to tell us and corroborate the story. Apparently she told the government, you can't talk to my ex-girlfriend. I'm getting to the ex by now, or maybe it's current, because she don't know anything. Banner says, I'm not sure. Huh? Chat, why this chick get up on the stand and she don't know nothing no more? Oh, I'm not sure about this. I can't recall this. I don't know nothing about this. You know, she said yesterday she didn't remember things from 2 days ago. Chat, is it the weed? Don't let me get like Stephen A. Smith. Stay off the weed. Come on now. Why would somebody not be able to remember something that happened 2 days ago if they met with the federal government 2 days ago to prepare for their thing? On October 4th, 2016, didn't you attend Mr. Combs' concert? I don't remember the date, but yeah, I went to a concert. Judge says, just ask Ms. Westmoreland. Okay, hold on. Could we read the text? Judge says, proceed. How about you read Banner, which is you, and I'll read Cassie. He says, I don't know what I wrote. Don't worry, I got you a copy right here. Coolio, what time? Love ya. Thanks for yesterday. You're asking Cass if Puff would like a sweatshirt 2 weeks after he allegedly held you over the balcony, right? Banner says, yeah, we were trying to be cool. Repeat that. Well, we had a FaceTime and we were trying to be cool. Westland says, isn't it true that you continue to see Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura because Combs did not cause you these injuries? Banner says, part of that statement is true, and part I can't agree with. Do you see your phone number on this? Yeah. The text is from October 15, 2016, from Mr. Combs to you. Yeah. Mr. Combs wrote, if you're going to do K with her, at least have her back. Do you remember receiving this? Yeah. Once again proven, Diddy was critical of Cassie taking the drugs. And she didn't only take it under his supervision, direction, or with him. Westland says, you remember that Bad Boy reunion tour, right? You started on it, but you ain't completed, right? They say, I did a couple of shows, maybe one or two. September 25th, 2016, the tour was at Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Wasn't it not? I don't know. I'm not too sure on dates. Wasn't he on stage with Lil' Kim? I don't know. And at the Harlem Salute or statue, and at the Harlem Salute to Achievement, objection, sidebar. They do a sidebar. They come back. Is this Trump International hotel stay of Frank Black include the September 26th in-room breakfast for 21 that you see? Yeah. You agree, one person can't be in two places at one time, right? Hard to say. So you know what they just did, right? They basically said that Diddy was at a Harlem thing and he had performed in Prudential Center on the 25th. However, on the 26th or whatever, I guess until the 26th, there was a hotel booked for Trump International and there was a charge for in-room breakfast. It says someone can't be in one place at two times. So you told the jurors that Combs injured you in L.A. Oh, shit. In September 26th, correct? AUSA says, could we have a sidebar? Oh, I get what the exposal is. They're saying Diddy was in New York. He went to Prudential Center, which is in New Jersey. Went back to Trump Intercontinental in New York. And when he's there, he orders breakfast for $231. That's a pretty good breakfast. Which I think he ordered, chat. What do you think the freakoff breakfast consisted of? I need a menu. What's the freakoff breakfast after you've done bust 15 nuts, you're filled with baby oil all in your pores? If you're the girl, you're emanating with the scent of urea, urine. Semen is caked to your body. You've been penetrated by 8 or 9 male escorts. What do you eat in the morning? Oh, y'all are diabolical, Charisma. Charisma, you are diabolical. You said more sausage. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. They said, after the freak off, you got to just eat more sausage. Y'all niggas is crazy. Somebody said, you got to get a glizzy. You get a glizzy. Okay. Somebody said fruits. Come on now. Somebody said cheese. Really? Okay. Somebody said Viagra and Plan B. That was all on the menu. Viagra and Plan B. Sausage and milk. Huh. That sounds nasty now you say it. Somebody said there's going to be some scrambled eggs. No, we need Red Bull, fruit, and water. Holy shit. You guys are amazing. I think y'all know what she's getting at, right? She's proved that the LA incident and the date that's been repeated doesn't match with the date that supposedly that would have happened. Keep in mind, by the way, it was exposed yesterday that she told Cassie, you got some of your details wrong because Cassie told part of this story in her lawsuit. She hit up Cassie and said, Cassie, no. It wasn't that hotel. It was at the apartment. So she was correcting Cassie. Now, Diddy's lawyer is saying, you corrected Cassie when Cassie said some bullshit in her lawsuit, civil suit against Diddy. You said you knew the truth. You went on to tell the government the truth, but your story's all over the place. Here's the thing. Even after you've had multiple times to analyze the story, you still got it wrong. Because you said September 26th, right? That's when it went down? You know it done fucked up, right? The 25th, he's at Prudential. He's on stage with Lil' Kim. The 26th, he's ordering breakfast at the Intercontinental in New York. Now, I'm pretty sure AUSA is going to say, well, it takes 6 hours to fly from New York to LA. He got breakfast, but the freakoff starts at night. Do you hear what I'm saying? You got breakfast, but the freakoff starts at night. So let's see. So you told the jurors Mr. Combs injured you in LA on the 26th, correct? AUSA says Sidebar. They Sidebar. They come back. Westland says, so let me ask you a question. So the diddler never caused you the injuries in the photo you provided with the metadata saying September 26, 2016. Bryana says, I can't agree with that. Now, this is starting to be really important, chat. Her answers aren't definitive. She's backpedaling, stumbling, and what happens is her lawyer is going to tell her to say certain things to avoid perjuring herself. They're never going to say the lie. They're going to say, if they trip you up, you can't recall. Oh, I'm not sure about that. I don't agree with that. But don't say it as a definitive, because she could have said, I said the 26th, and I meant the 26th. That's when it happened. But it looks like Diddy's team has came up with some info to show that Diddy was in another place. Now, also, let me be fair. I'm not saying it never happened, but she might have got her date wrong. Here's the thing. Diddy's team is hammering down on the date to show we got metadata from your phone that says it happened, or not from your phone, from the video or the picture that said it happened on that date. But it's impossible for it to happen on that date. Cool. Then she says, a person can't be in LA and New York the same time, right? Bryana says, my answer the same. No further questions, y'all. No further questions. No further questions. Well, I feel like I'm talking like Unc now. Because Unc be repeating the same thing like 3 times. No further questions. No further questions. Judge says redirect, another sidebar. They come back again. Smizer says, have you ever reviewed the notes taken at your interview? She says no. Did you ever give Cassie permission to put your name in her complaint? She said no. After she filed, I hit her up over her mistakes. Tiffany wasn't there. So Cassie thought that Tiffany Red was her girlfriend at the time. It wasn't. AUSA says, when you filed your lawsuit, was it a report of the balcony or the same or different from Cassie's? Different. Is what you said today your best recollection? She said yes. The demand letters your lawyers first wrote, did you write them? No. This is a horrible witness, chat. What is shown is that her lawyers lied to try to get more money. So they alleged sexual assault. So that fucks up her credibility. But also, she corrected Cassie when Cassie filed her lawsuit. And then what she's saying after she met with the government is still different. So all it's showing is that this woman has been changing her story from day one. It says, listen. He says, the demand letters of your first lawyer, did you write them? No. The demand letter that said, Mr. Combs, squeeze your breast so hard you had bruises. Had you said that? No. So she's saying she never accused Diddy of grabbing them tatas. Never. What does this mean? She's saying my lawyer is a liar. My lawyer is over whooping. My lawyer is capping. Wow. Interesting. AUSA says, did you demonstrate with hand motions? Please do. He started my armpit. So I guess he lifted her. And the lawyer who filed it said, so when he lifted you by your armpit, he grabbed them titties too, didn't he? He a little freaky, yeah, nigga. He probably grabbed them titties. he probably like, he grabbed by your armpit and he started cupping them titties. And she says she never agreed to that, but he says, fuck it, we'll just write it in there. You know what I mean? AUSA says, do you demonstrate with hand motions? Please do. Say you started with my armpit. Were they on your breasts? Yes. So now she's kind of saying, yeah, they touched my breast, but I didn't say he squeezed my breast. I guess she's almost saying, I know he wasn't sexually assaulting me. He was just trying to lift me. Okay, getting hazy. Do you yourself know the exact date of the balcony incident? She says no. She said, why not? It was a while ago. Are you any doubt that Mr. Combs held you off the balcony? She says, no doubt. AOS says nothing further. Recross, Westland says, of course I got some more for this chick. I'm giving her the business. Westland says, listen here. In a follow-up interview with the government, you gave them pictures of your leg injury with the metadata. True? She said, yes, I did give them pictures. So when you sued Mr. Combs, you weren't rich, right? She said, no, I was not. So you saw this as a chance to make 10 milli. Ain't that true? Bongolian says, well, the judge will review it. It means a lot to you to become a millionaire, right? And soon, right? She says, no, I don't care about being a millionaire. I just want justice. Really? Don't justice for you mean money? You know what? Nothing further. Gets off the stand. Thank you, Ms. Banner. Is there an exhibit? Publish it. Shapiro says we object on the Rule 106. So after the break, jurors, there will be food for you in there. All rise. And then look like, I don't know if they took a break. So about these text messages, there are screenshots of the messages between Ventura and Christina Karam. It first involved Ms. Ventura saying her phone was thrown off the balcony. Then about Ms. Banner, the defense wants more in. AUSA says they wanted Ms. Karam's message saying that it didn't happen. But that's self-serving hearsay with no exception. It just says the allegedly complete statement are not admissible. Mr. Ignifilo, your client was looking at the jurors and nodding vigorously. That can't continue, or I will give limited instructions you won't like, or other measures, including barring your client from the courtroom. Do you understand? Ignifilo says yes. So it looks like Diddy's in the courtroom. Diddy's beating his chest. The next freakoff about to be in a few weeks. It's about to be lit. So Diddy's feeling confident. You could tell he's looking at the jurors. He's like, now I think he's doing that because his new shorty WAP, which is Nicole Westerland, esteemed lawyer, has exposed Banner as a fraud. She got 5 stories. She gave a date that he was in another city. This shit seems like a sham. Not only that, she was going back and forth with Cassie over the details after the first lawsuit, which was a civil suit by Cassie, saying, Cassie, baby girl, you must have bumped your head. You don't got all the details right. Let me get you the details right. How the person correcting your work gonna get it wrong too? That's a problem. That's a problem. So I could tell this exposal is bad. Diddy's in the courtroom, got a toothpick in his mouth. He know. He could smell the baby oil. He could taste the Astro Glide. He could feel the male semen being moisturizing his nipples once again. He knows he's about to break free. He's looking at the jury just like, take that tape. He's doing it. The judge is like, what the fuck? Nigga think we about to have a freak off in court? Hold on now. Okay. Before we get on to the new shit, we got to see if, did Unc pop up? I know Unc had to pop up. Unc had to pop up. Where's Sean G at? Where's Sean G?
Share this video. Say, tell me what the prosecutor said.
Here we go.
After Nicole Westland did that, tell me what the prosecutor said.
Sidebar.
What the prosecutor said.
Sidebar.
Goddamn sidebar.
Come on, man.
Sidebar.
Come on, man.
The prosecutor jumps in, says sidebar.
Yo, me and Unc, me and Unc is a 1-2 duo right now. It's Shaq and Kobe. Like, it's Shaq and Kobe in the finals, man.
Sidebar. They came back. From. I need y'all to share this video. Give it a thumbs up. Key Mar, what up? Thank you for the super chat. Get the video a thumbs up. Everybody share this video with somebody. Get it out there. You heard it from Sean G first. Breaking news.
Come on.
Breaking news. What's up, man? Breaking news.
Here we go.
Hey, y'all ready?
Turn me up, Unc.
Y'all ready?
Turn me up,
Come
Unc.
back from the sidebar. Nicole Westland. Ma'am. Bryana Bongolian. Ma'am, isn't it true? Puffy did not cause you the injuries in the photo. Bryana said, I can't agree with you. Ma'am, you gave those photos to the federal prosecution in the Southern District of New York, right?
Yeah.
She said, yeah. She said, ma'am, you can't be in California and New York at the same time. Yo, then Nicole Westmoreland said this. Ma'am, you came in here and you lied. I have no more questions. The prosecution, you know what the prosecution said?
What?
What the prosecution say?
Sidebar.
Nicole Westmoreland said, you came in here and you lied. What the prosecution say?
Sidebar.
Sidebar. Another side. Two sidebar.
Yo, chat. We might have to do the Syball T-shirt collab. Me and motherfucking Sean G. We need a Syball T-shirt. That's a fact. Verselli, cook it up right now. Me and Unc, we got to drop it. The Syball T-shirt. Come on now, let's cook it up.
2 sidebars in 2 minutes. Goddamn sidebar. Sidebar.
Nah, Unc moving crazy.
Sidebar.
Unc moving crazy now.
After she said that, I got up and left. Everybody else in there, they still in there. I said, I got to go break it to my people first. The whole balcony, everybody last night that came, I'm talking to everybody on the planet, everybody in mainstream media, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Instagram. Y'all jumped out there last night. Oh, he was hanging her, he was dangling her over a balcony. It's a lie. Cassie lied. Cassie's lawsuit is a lie. She extorted Puff for $20 million because that balcony incident is in her lawsuit too. They lied. Mia lied on Puff.
This is what we need right here, chat. This is what we need right here. This is what we need. Hold on. I ain't gonna kill the vibe. Hold on. I got y'all. This is what I'm trying to say right here. That's what you trying to say.
Would have never did that. Biggie would have tell you what I hate, and people always want to ask me why I said it 20 years later.
Laid them both down.
People always say why I said it 20 years later.
Why
I said it when the fucking shit was going on.
What?
And Biggie wouldn't have fucking died if that nigga hadn't lied. He lied. Right. Y'all niggas worship him. Lied.
It led to Big's death.
Never, ever said nothing about him. He fucking lied.
Damn. Let's get back to Unc.
Shard lied on Puff. Bryana Bongolian lied on Puff. Cassie lied on Puff. David James lied on Puff. Capricorn Clark lied on Puff. Kid Cudi lied on Puff. Everybody, they lied on Puff. They lied on Puff. Yes, they did. They lied on Puff, man. They lied on Puff. Deontay Nash. Hey, girl. Deontay Nash lied on Puff.
Talk about it.
Capricorn Clark is a liar. Kid Cudi is a liar. Cassie is a liar. Mia is a liar. Bryana Bongolian is a liar. David James is a liar.
Holy shit. All right, hold on. Chat, we got to be fair and balanced. So, Unc going so crazy, I got to play somebody else to try to balance it off. Let's see.
U.S. versus Sean Combs.
Let's
day
see what Lauren got to
17.
say.
This is
I'm going to get back to Unc. I just don't, every time like we start getting one POV, I don't want people to think we're biased. So I'm trying to shift it a little bit real quick, okay?
It was an intense.
Okay, Lauren. All right, Lauren.
Morning during the remainder of the cross-examination of Bryana Bongolian by Nicole Westmoreland. I was not expecting this, and it seems as though she was impeached at least on the date of the alleged balcony incident or this photograph of the bruise. So right off the bat, I'll just get into this. She had testified that she took a photo of the bruise that was inflicted upon her, allegedly, by Sean Combs the day after the balcony incident or the morning after, or the morning of. If it happened, at 4 a.m., obviously at 9:25, that would be the same day. So that was September 26th, 2016. And we actually saw the metadata on this photograph with the time. I think it was 9:25, September 26th, 2015, and also that it was taken in LA. And Nicole Westmoreland says, well, Ms. Bongolian, were you not aware that Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura were in the New York and New Jersey area on September 26th for the Bad Boy reunion tour? And she says something like, I don't know. And then she follows that up with, oh yeah, and they had a charity event in New York City on the 25th, actually. And Bongolian said, oh, I don't know. And then Nicole Westmoreland actually showed us an invoice from the Trump Hotel where it was, Frank Black was the guest, and it was from September 24th to September 29th, 2016. She kind of went through all of the breakfast charges, this and that, and it was pretty shocking. I would say there were some visible reactions, just shocked reactions from the gallery as well as the jurors. Because, it was, again, during redirect, Bryana Bongolian said there's no doubt in her mind the balcony incident happened. However, we did see a hotel invoice that said the 24th through the 29th, Diddy was not in California. And the bruise from her cell phone, the metadata showed it was taken the morning of September 25th. Or 26th, 2016. So I will leave it at that. Now, there is one thing that they were discussing during some evidentiary stuff this morning, and that was about getting a text message in from Cassie to Christina.
Hey, chat, should I do this? By the way, shout out to Lauren. Okay, shout out to Lauren. We're good friends. Lauren wants to do something. I got to do something with Unc. Should I do something separate with Lauren, or should I bring Unc, Lauren, and let's just make it just like a mix? Or should me and Unc just do a one-on-one? Pause. Pause. Or should I bring Lauren there too? Lauren hit me. So she down to do some shit. Yeah, look at y'all. We not doing no freak off, nigga. Should I do it separate? I rock with both of them. And also, I'm going to be honest with you, I want to do something with Lauren because I really like her coverage. I also feel bad a little bit because, I feel like we help Unc a lot, but Unc, you know what I mean? We were watching Lauren for a minute too. I want to give her a stimmy too, I want to not necessarily, if we could help somebody platform, I want to do it. So, all right, what I'm thinking about, it's going to be in person too. It's going to be in person, chat. We could get them on the stream, but I want to do it in person. So I'm thinking either this weekend, I know it's already, what today is, Thursday? Either this weekend or next weekend. They're all covering it. I want to do something with Lauren. I want to do something with Unc. We got to make it good.
Quorum about this incident, and I believe the date on that was September 30th when she texted. So maybe the dates are off. I think we'll hear about that when we get back from lunch. So I'll discuss later on tonight. I think court might go a little late, I'm not sure. But that was a moment. You know, a couple other moments from this morning from the cross, which was serious. The fact that Bryana went to a private party that was thrown by Sean Combs a week after the balcony dangling incident, or the alleged incident. And also she was invited to sleep over Cassie's by Cassie a week after this incident, or around then. And she said, sure. So Morland was like, oh, so you're going to go to this place a week later where this horrible thing happened to you? And she's like, I guess so. And then we heard about Ray J again. You know, he was brought up when she talked about going to this private party, this club, and she said, you know, did Ray J bring you drugs again? And Bongolian said, what did she say? She said something like, I don't know why his name is Ray J. I am very confused about this. I mean, there is technically only one Ray J, right? But who knows? Yeah, so it was a lot of just being called out for that stuff, but the biggest moment was definitely the metadata on the photo and just being shown the fact that he was not in town. So I'll leave it at that. What else? Oh, I mean, during redirect, they said there's no doubt in your mind that this happened to you, this balcony dangling incident. And she said, no, there's no doubt in my mind. Oh, one other thing on the cross-examination, there was a pretty tedious moment when they were discussing her original civil suit and the fact that she used a lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, and they brought his name up several times. And, you know, they just said, like, you let him go when he kind of mischaracterized what happened to you and included this whole sexual assault thing, because, you know, he said he groped you and blah, blah, blah. And she says, yes, I let him go because of that. And then Morland said, well, you know, your new lawyers also alleged that you have him groping you in that. So you kind of kept this lie going. And she just kept saying, I don't understand the question, or can you rephrase? At one point she said, I don't agree with all of that. So it was a bit of a tedious moment. I think a lot of us were like, okay, let's just try to get through this because it's a little awkward or uncomfortable, the back and forth. And then the government, when they did their redirect, they just said, you know, Ms. Bongolian, you talk with your hands. Can you kind of explain why maybe your attorneys thought that he groped you or allegedly SA'd you? And she said, well, I showed that when he picked me up, it was like kind of going like that. And so maybe, you know, that's why they said so, or why they said what they said. And then the government said, well, did he touch your breast? And she said, yes. So, okay. So that's pretty much what happened this morning. Again.
Lauren. I don't know if Logic fuck with us like that. I know Lauren fuck with us. I don't know if Logic fuck with us. Let's listen to Logic.
State Defense Counsel Nicole Westland did such an effective job this morning of destroying the testimony of Bryana Bongolian, a.k.a. Bana.
Chat, didn't I tell y'all? Nicole Westerland. That's a black queen who's putting up 55. Yo, Diddy, we know you like these. Well, I mean, Young Miami was black. But we know you like these non-black, non-ethnic type of women because they get down with a freak-off easier. But just remember this. You're back against the wall. You got Nicole Westerland. She's over here putting up 40 for you.
That may affect the state's entire case. I want to break that down for you. Also, what steps the state took to try and mitigate whatever damage to her testimony may have occurred through the cross-examination. And where does Trump fit into all this? Because, well, they were using Trump to blow her up. I'm Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Logic. I'm a New York attorney. I'm a litigator who has litigated in this very courthouse in the Southern District of New York. I'm bringing to you legal perspectives as to what is happening in this trial. If that sort of thing is your deal, please like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notifications of every drop I give you from inside the Diddy courtroom. Now, Bana testified yesterday to the fact, or her claim, that on September 26, 2016, Diddy came into Cassie's house, her apartment on the 17th floor, and held her over the edge of the balcony while screaming at her, you know what you did, you know what you did, and that she was terrified before he allegedly threw her onto the balcony furniture and caused her serious injuries to her leg and to her head and neck. Now, we saw pictures yesterday with metadata of her leg injuries. She alleged that she took those pictures later that same day on September 26, 2016. That's how we're able to pin in this date Well, yesterday there was an extensive cross-examination which was very damaging to her credibility, and the fact that the stories seemed to change and morph through time, and depending on who's telling it. It would change with respect to who was there. It would change with respect to what was going on beforehand, what Bana was doing immediately before Diddy showed up, what direction she was facing. Was she facing towards the balcony door or towards the view? What parts of her body she touched. It's changed in a lot of different ways. That all came up yesterday, but the explosive testimony and cross-examination that came up today was she was questioned about Diddy and Cassie's schedule on September 25th, 2016, one day beforehand. And it turns out that night, Diddy was performing at the Prudential Center in New Jersey, and Cassie was there with him that evening. If that's not bad enough, they followed up with, on September 26th, the next day, that he was attending a benefit celebrating achievements of boys and girls in New York City. Now, Cassie's apartment is in Los Angeles, and supposedly this all happened the morning of...
Remember, she hit Cassie up. Bana hit Cassie up after Cassie's lawsuit to say, girl, he didn't dangle me off a balcony at a hotel. He dangled me off a balcony at your apartment in L.A. So this is why it's important, because Diddy is now proven we weren't in L.A. that day. So what are you talking about? We weren't in L.A. So you hit her up to correct her about something that is not true? Okay.
September 26, 2016, which, when we're seeing this and hearing questions about that, she's like, I don't know anything about their schedule. I don't know about their schedule. It gets worse, because then she's shown that Diddy checked into the Trump Hotel on September 25th and did not check out until the 29th. That for that 5-day period, he was staying in the Trump Hotel. And in fact, on the morning of September 26, 2016, that there was in-room dining that was ordered. 3 different meals throughout the course of the day on September 26, 2016, ordered into Diddy's room. She's asked by Nicole Westmoreland, it's not possible for one person to be in 2 places at the same time. It's like, I don't understand. Well, if you're in New York, you can't be in LA at the same time. In theory. In theory? Okay? Her final question on cross-examination was, you lied to the ladies and gentlemen in this jury when you told them that Diddy caused you those injuries on September 26, 2016. And all she could say was, I don't agree. It was shocking. The viewing room I was in was abuzz. People...
Oh, I got Wendy's before I started. I ain't gonna lie, Chad. I'm stinching on myself.
She took the day of the incident and that way pins it down as being September 26, 2016. So is so directly refuted.
I'm a little mad weird because, like, I don't eat the breaded part, so I just take the chicken out and I just eat this by itself. So don't look at me weird.
On that very same day, showing that he couldn't be there and raising questions as to whether or not those injuries could have possibly been caused by Diddy. It gets worse because the balcony story has been told over by Cassie as well. They've both walked...
Yeah, spicy chicken, word. But I just eat the thing, I don't eat the bread.
Thrown into question, and the defense was working very hard to show that they both started changing their story to work their story together with respect to this balcony incident. This could start to raise questions for the jury as to whether they can trust Cassie. Because by the time they were done with Bana, certainly it seemed like there was a lot of questions you can have at the very least about her balcony story, if not all of her testimony. It was interesting to see what direction the state would go to try and repair this damage, especially that it shouldn't infect the testimony and credibility of the testimony of Cassie Ventura. And Ms. Smizer, on behalf of the state, did an effective job.
So, chat, I know I'm eating, but it looks like it was a mistake bringing this woman on the stand. She's so inconsistent. At least with Cassie, her inconsistencies, she's crying, but she's telling a whole 10-year thing. She's telling 10 years of things. This person don't have 10 years of things. They have one notable incident And the one notable incident, Diddy wasn't there. Not at that place, not in that state, not on that coast. They shouldn't have brought her on the stand. Not for the AUSAs.
In my opinion, of trying to show the distinction between Cassie's testimony and Bonna's testimony. And she pointed out, she said, you
didn't know about to start? All right, we about to get back into it. Hold on.
Didn't talk to Cassie before she filed
might have me choking on this motherfucker. Pause. No Diddy.
Lawsuit. Did you? No. Well, I spoke to her you spoke to her except for one time. Yes. And what did she ask you during that one time that she spoke to you before she filed her lawsuit? She asked whether she could use my name in her lawsuit. And what did you respond to that? I asked her not to put my name in there. Did you know she was going to talk about the balcony incident? No. And you read her complaint afterwards, didn't you? Yes. And when you saw her complaint and you saw that she wrote about the balcony incident? Yes. And what did you do when you saw the way she told over the story of the balcony incident? I called her up and I told her that she had things wrong. Like she had wrong that she thought it was an hotel. She had wrong that she thought Terry was there, another person was there, which she wasn't there. So you weren't trying to work in cahoots with her. You were correcting what you saw in papers and you didn't know that she was going to put in her papers beforehand. That's the point that the state wants to make. Because if the jury comes to a conclusion that Cassie and her friends are working together to try and formulate stories for the purposes of trying to extort money out of Diddy, obviously that would go a long way towards destroying the credibility of these people who are raising claims against Diddy and trying, in theory, to put him behind bars. So that was the nature of the redirect, to try and show that, look, you might have problems with your memory, and that was the further redirect. She said, but are you positive that this incident happened at some point? What's the one thing you know about the balcony? I know that he held me up by the edge of the balcony. So the state is hoping, and how do you remember it? I remember it because of the terrifying fear I felt. The objective of the state here was basically to imply that perhaps there is blurriness to the memory that Bonna has about the incident, but that definitely happened. And whether she took the picture at some later time or whatever, the point that the state wants us to believe is that the incident...
All right, a little bit more unk, and then we're back to it. Let's see. Matter of fact, let's get caught up on a couple tweets. The judge says, I could stay past 4 p.m. My sentence has been adjourned. I could stay late. Ms. Shapiro, what about y'all? Says, I have a meeting with lawyers in another matter. I want to be here for all of Jane Doe's, who's a key witness. Okay, we'll end at 4. So they're ending at 4. They're ending in two hour and a half. The jury enters. First is a stipulation. There was a seizure at Miami Airport of I thought seizure no, it's a seizure of her phone at the airport. So it looked like Diddy was getting on that plane with Christina Karam. They seized her phone. And then it says the metadata shows September 30th, 2016. Ooh, bring the witness in. Okay. Before we get to that, let me just get back to Unk for a little bit, that we can build up some tweets to read.
Witness that got put on the stand done got dealt with. Shout out to Nicole Westmoreland. Bryana Bongolian met with federal prosecutors What's up, man? What's going on? Bryana Bongolian met with federal prosecutors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She met with federal prosecutors 7, 8 times. She met with the feds yesterday, Wednesday. She met with the feds Tuesday. She met with the feds on Monday. June 4th, June 3rd, June 2nd, May 25th, April 9th, March 27th, all 2025. Cassie texted her yesterday. Who that right there? Tony Quinn. Tony Q. Cassie texted Bryana yesterday morning. Bryana testified to that on the stand. Deontay Nash hey girl, texted Deontay Nash, texted Bryana yesterday too. Both of them. Both Deontay, hey girl, and Cassie text Bryana yesterday. Oh man, that's crazy. They trying to give this man 30 years in prison on a RICO charge, and the girl done got up there in court and got subpoena with immunity. She's protected from perjury. She's protected from perjury, and she got on the stand and told a lie that Puffy hung her off a balcony in Los Angeles on September 26, 2016, and Puffy was in New York with Cassie up in Harlem. He was in Harlem. You know where he was staying at? What hotel he was staying at? Y'all put it in the live chat.
The Trump International asked for me.
What hotel he was staying at? Who his main man? What hotel? He could have stayed at that hotel. He could have stayed at that hotel. He could have stayed at that hotel. He could have stayed over there. He could have stayed over there.
It ain't no Holiday Inn or Doubletree.
But what hotel?
Ain't no Hampton Inn Suites.
How did he stay at? Who he choose to give his money to? Who he
ain't no Best Western nothing.
Support. Check me out. Check me out.
Yeah.
Check me out.
It's just like a.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Write it down. Write it down.
Okay, all right. We gotta move. We gotta move. Jane Doe's supposed to be on the stand, so we gotta go. Okay, cool. So they get off Bryana. On the stand, Eric Santos gets on the stand. She says, I work for the SDNY prosecutor's office for 17 years. I've done all the extractions for the cell phone. So he's a person, he's the extraction expert. They said these 3 cell phones, whose cell phones were there? Cassie. One had a changed IMEI number. It had been repaired. It said if a user takes a screenshot, what's the metadata? So it's the creation date, the modified data. Where is it stored? AUSA said this exhibit. Is there another extraction? Yes. No further question. So now it looks like they're trying to say that metadata that the defense got in discovery is not the date that supposedly the incident went down. But here's the thing. Bryana agreed that the incident was September 26th according to the metadata, even though she said she didn't really remember. Now, this is why the AUSA brought this expert up to say, the metadata might be wrong, because if they take a screenshot of something, it creates a new date, okay? So now it says, so they rest after that. That's probably like 2 minutes. They rest after that. Then we have the defense says, did some deleted message remain? Santos says yes. So Tenny's doing the cross. Says September 30th is a capture date of the screenshot, right? Santos says yes. Says thank you. Judge says next witness. So that really doesn't prove anything. It kind of says, yo, the date that they were getting this woman for lying about it went down maybe happened on another date, but she's also testifying to the date that they presented to her, which is September 26th, which also I think the prosecutors in pretrial presented to her. So like, I think that was a nothing burger. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right, let's go.